of time, I will just move to some of the lenses we have learned. Okay. Before I go to the lesson learned, I want to talk on collaborations. Yeah, because from yesterday, it seems that the activity. So I know a lot of things the board does. So, vendors in country or vendors, local vendors, where they talked about funding. There are a lot of things NCDMB do. I think that opportunity, NCDMB can showcase it more to our people, and then I realize that some of their things they do, like all this Nigeria content fair and probably the NOGOF, they select some vendors in country. So this can be elaborate, you send to a lot of people, not because I don't know how they do their, whether they categorize the vendors, and so that's why a lot of people come, vendors, they will be complaining they don't have access to funds, but all these funds are actually there. Like the NCF 1% in silo, our senior partner, so we could just say NFPC, NCDMB, and the operators. But however, Koren has been left in silo of this activity for years. So it's key because Koren are saddled with the responsibilities of building capacities in country. So it's key for NCDMB to actually consider this. I'm aware because I'm a kind of an insider that there's a lot of collaboration going on. Getting to the level of MOUs that, and if this is done, and this is coming up because of the 3 accords that we are trying to get for Nigeria engineers in country that will further buttress our integrity as a nation. Here, let me just elaborate a little bit on this. So when we had issues on the 3 different accords, the Washington, the Sydney, the Dublin, so we realized that there were a little bit of gaps between the income was this graduate training school they want to establish in country. So this is where you go into the integrity world, on site, you have experts that will do the job. Even the locals are not available to do it because we have these skill gaps, and codes level, we've been able to identify this, but at the training, which is the industry level, that we've not been able to implement, but I know at that other area, we've been able to implement those ones. And so it's key. So these are all like, so the NCDMB again, they should try to, encourage the manufacturing of some of these materials in country and not to be depending on foreigner, or even if we don't have them in country, there should be a synergy of like the vendors representing them in country so that we can be doing small assembly in the country there to produce or provide jobs for our people. So I'll just go straight to some of the lessons learned. Yeah, so these are some of the lessons learned in job. So we realize that there are insufficient implementation of succession plans. So that's what we're saying to learn from the, I'm part of it. I know I've not actually mentored too much of the younger generation. So it's key. We have something like a succession plan, in country, if these things must be passed to the younger generation. And then the technology is key to actually go into the new technologies that are coming up in the world of integrity, accountability, and process ownership. People should own process. The different operators, they should try and own their processes if there are, especially where there are marginal fees or where there are collaborations. I think people own those processes and ensure that when there are issues, they are easily resolved. And there should be technical and process safety. In all, basically, I know that's one of the things SPC does where they want to start a new plant. I think, of course, all the other part of oil and gas, but they only do it at the beginning of the project and then we close it. Let it be, especially for the process safety, let it be something that is implemented, that you run it all through the life of the asset, and then it will help the assets. And then implementation in line with international standards. Of course, everything we are doing, even though we are trying to localize, we should ensure that that the locals is key. We discourage them not to do any work for us at the end of the day, to not stand the integrity of time. And then you have material selection, materials that are not good enough for the job. At the end of the day, you install, you commission, and then you can't use the job for anything. And then procurement, that long lead procurement items you do abroad, and then if we cannot go because of foreigns or because of anything, you can establish the TPI. And then in those days, they used to do it for the IOCs that we had worked for, LLNG, likes of LLNG, the expediency and the settlers, you establish a TPI who goes there, then you do your locally here that create something like a Zoom, and then you do the follow-up. So all these are then discouraged, because I realize a lot of people who come will say we have ISO, especially the one they get from what's it called, Sun. I'm not trying to discredit them, but I think it's key. The policymakers should review that. And then a lot of lost time, issue around contracting. Lastly, from the lesson learned, I want to draw a little bit of our attention to contracting. So you find out that before contracts are issued in those days, you will see people, they will come to do your verification of your system. But these days, because of how far we have gone, nobody does that again. And you find out when the contracts are given, we've run into a problem, because the people you think you give jobs to, they are portfolio company, and at the end of the day you come in, these guys don't have any equipment. Even if they have equipment, they paint them, they just say either you paint them or you clean them to make them when the people come for inspection. At the end of the day, when it comes to operation, they are like old woman that is in a hand of a new person. So in conclusion, our pipelining country, alignment of service contract to integrity KPIs should be establishing energy/CO2 material testing center, which is the future of integrity. Thank you.
That was a very robust presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you've taken so much from her. Celebrate her for the wealth of knowledge she shared in panel session. After the panel session, we have about 4 presentations. We go for lunch, come back from lunch, we wrap up with the other presentations, and the next and final panel session for the day, and we call it a wrap for the conference. I'm going to be calling our panelists on stage. When I call them, somebody's already yawning. Are you tired? We can everybody just stand up, and let's stretch. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. I see you yawning already. Okay, your left leg out, your left, and then your hands out. Let me step back. Safety, right? Your right leg out and stretch out. Then can you just squat? Can you 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 stand up? Can you stand up? Can you? I see Christina. I see you, ma'am. Okay. Give yourself a round of applause, please. Then turn to your neighbor. Give your neighbor. Chop knuckles to your neighbor. Chop knuckles to your neighbor. Yes, so that I can wake up. If you see someone that was sleeping, check the person. Check the person. Engineer Christiana, I see you. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to the panel session. This will be a very, 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 very rich panel session on the theme, advancing integrity management, leveraging digitalization for pipeline transfer session. I'm going to be calling up our panelists, speaking, and 5 of them. Unfortunately, again, we don't have a female on this panel, so you would have to speak to Dr. Vincent on that. Thank you, Dr. Vincent, for these panels. Let's welcome the very first panelist, who is a leader in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, Engineer Dr. Emeka Okwosa, CEO and Group Managing Director, Oil Serve Group. He's represented by Mr. Cheta Okwosa, who's the General Manager, Group Commercial and Business Development, who will share his leadership perspective on behalf of Oil Serve Group. Please celebrate him as he comes forward to sit on stage again. The very next is another gentleman who leads Renaissance African Company. He has been at the forefront of driving efficiency, technical innovation, and sustainability. Become the MD and CEO of Renaissance African. Thank him, the man that is dressed so well, like a true Nigerian. And up next on stage, ladies and gentlemen, is a strategic leader in energy infrastructure and pipeline project. Of course, with extensive experience in engineering leadership, project execution, and midstream infrastructure development. He brings insights on delivering safe, efficient, and sustainable energy projects. Please help me welcome on stage the Vice President, Engineering and Project, Here's Energy, Uzoma Nwokori. Please celebrate him well. Our very next speaker and panelist, ladies and gentlemen, brings deep expertise on pipeline operations, maintenance strategies, and system integrity, playing a key role in ensuring safe, efficient, and resilient energy transport across our region. He is a seasoned professional in pipeline operations and infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, from Umugini Pipeline Infrastructure Limited, her maintenance, operation, and superintendent manager, Olamide Banjo. Please celebrate him as he joins the stage as a panelist. And of course, still joining as another panelist, ladies and gentlemen, is the man that has the highest certification in the room. CIPM, IAPM, IABFM. You know his name already. The one and only engineer Olutosin Oyetola Jalaoye of Prime Sources Limited, the senior project manager there. Please celebrate him once again. And of course, the last but not the least, the moderator that will champion this session for 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, is a professor per excellence. He brings vast experience in pipeline systems, advanced integrated management, and engineering leadership, making him the ideal guide for today's discussion on the theme, Advanced Integrity Management, Leveraging Digitalization for Pipeline Lifespan Expansion. Please help me welcome Professor Olusegun Ayola Ajayi, FNSCHE. Sir, the stage is yours for 30 minutes.
It's nice to be here today, and we are all happy to be here. Today we shall be talking about a very critical topic. Nigeria is rich with a network of thousands of kilometers of pipeline. Unfortunately, most of them are aging. So we have a dual advantage at hand. To ensure safety and environmental protection, while we want to maximize the value and utility of this existing infrastructure. So we are looking at digitalization as a shift from reactive to predictive and to prescriptive integrity management. I'm happy to have experience in managing this infrastructure, and we shall be discussing with them on areas where they will teach us and give us experience. I want to start with Engineer Uzoma. Is your speaker okay, sir? I know I'm going to put to test my knowledge today because I have classroom knowledge and I really want to be taught from the feed. Do you think digital tools that are available to do this job will make our job easier or more complex as pipeline engineers, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. This is not working. Thank you very much. Digital tools, will they make our job easy
or more complex?
Complex. So I'll look at it in two ways. It depends. That's what I'll say. So digital tools have to be customer focused to make the job easy. So there's a difference between designing a tool and deploying to the customer. But if the customer is part of the development of that tool, it makes the work easy. Yeah. It makes it seamless. So in developing digital tools for our operations, we need to ensure that there's an input from the customers, from the end users. And it needs to be very simple. The user human interface also needs to be very simple. And that
case for multi-million-dollar investment in the comprehensive digital integrated management system, do you think that we can achieve building a multi-dollar investment aside what he just told us, aside safety, aside all that is? Do you think we can actually achieve in this country? And then I will follow up with a question. If you have that $1 billion, will you put it to
be able to do digital transformation, you must spend money. So yeah, to be able to spend money, you must be able to prove to whoever is going to sponsor it that it's worth it. Yeah. So to build such a business case, you need to first of all, you just basically to present it in black and white, why it must be done, and then you'll be considering things like stating clearly the pain points. I mean, where you are now is a digital, you're executing things manually. So what are the pain points? What are those things that makes you uncomfortable? Where are you heading to? What are the benefits? Execute that or implement that, maybe an ERP or something that migrates you to the digital form. What are the benefits that comes from it? Clearly stated. Then you also need to consider, okay, if you have stated these are the benefits, how does this benefit align with existing organizational goals? I mean, you may have an instruction from the board of directors telling you, the operations team or the system, that I want you to increase from 2,500 barrels to 5,000 barrels. Those benefits of that digital transformation you are muting, is it aligned to that goal, to that organizational goal? And then ultimately, you now need to work out clearly a stage-gated process that takes you from where you are now to where you want.
Because he says something that I know is your area. You talk about digital twin, and I know you are fantastic there. So I will start bugging your mind on that while I ask this question. So keep that in your mind while I ask this question. We all know that for us to have integrity in terms of data management or advanced integrity management, we depend on data. And there is something we are taught in secondary school up to university level, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. These days, they even say garbage in, nothing out. Because the garbage might corrupt your system and nothing will come out of it. So, what are the most effective strategies for cleansing and conceptualizing decade of legacy inspection and maintenance data to make it usable for us to be able to adopt advanced integrity management system? It's off now. You've off it now. Now it's on. Legacy data that is unreliable. No, it's not working. It's not working.
Okay. So looking at the question is, this legacy unreliable data, what do we do to this data? And how do we prepare the data to be used? It's about data collection and data integrity. I can put 8. Now, if that's only data that you have, actually, I've already falsified the data already. So again, tools that can collect the data for us. So we're looking at data loggers and all those instrumentation that can store data for you. And that way, then you have a basis to validate and then to begin to use for your assessments here.
Thank you for that word validate, because I know that at the end of the day, we still need to bring human into it to actually see whether those data make sense or not. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Let me ask Engineer Tunji, Dr. Tunji Banjo. I know you are also in this area and you play a lot with data. Can you please share with us how are you moving towards smart pigging with real-time data transmission, or a massive development of low-cost fixed wireless sensor along the right of way? So how do we actually bring this data now to be able to move to smart technology, if I can use that word?
All right. Thank you, moderator. One of the things that you also need to look at before you start your pigging is you need to look at your pressure. When you start having some pressure drop or some issues along the pipeline, then that gives you an indication that, yes, there's something clogging my pipeline that I need to work on. And that's very phenomenal in pipeline maintenance. You have your flow computers that give you regular information on daily basis. Looking at running a smart pig, you must have first clean the pipeline. There's cleaning aspect where you use your foam, you use your mechanical pigs before you run your smart pigs into the facility. When you have that data of your smart pig, I'm talking intelligent pigs now, we call them intelligent pigs, depending on what you want to check. figure should tell you if you have intrusion on your pipeline, you can get the point with the GPS. When you're running a smart pig into the pipeline, you need to have a pig that can give you geolocation that will make it easy for you to do your repairs on that particular area. So information about pipeline, internal information about pipeline, using a smart pig is very, very key in ensuring your integrity and having that pipeline being properly maintained at any point in time. However, there are some things before you do your maintenance. Probably you have a flow on the pipeline you're flowing, and you suddenly notice a pressure drop. Now, you just don't notice the pressure drop. There are indications. You have a flow computer at one end, at both ends, that helps you to monitor when you come in at the point of entry, what's the pressure at the point of entry. It's also data. That is being done using, if you have an Omni flow meter, it gives you that information on real time. Now, at the other receiving end, where you are doing your custody transfer, if you cross-check those two pressure and they are dropped, it tells you there's something happening on my pipeline. Somebody needs to visit it. That's one of the things that you need to do to ensure that your pipeline integrities are being maintained.
Thank you. Dr. Jelai, I know you have experience in the field, but there was a time I was sick and I went to the doctor. And let me adjust my chair very well so I can see your face. And I asked the doctor, is it possible for me to have in my system, in my bloodstream, drug for malaria, drug for typhoid, in my body system? I will not call for it until I'm sick, but it's there. And the guy looked at me and said, you are crazy. And I said, that's what we call the immune system, right? That's what we call the immune system. So it activates when it sees any other microorganism. Can I have the drug in case my body soldiers are weak so they can attack it? I want to believe that digital twine system functions in a similar way, right? Is it possible now or in the nearest future for us to design new pipelines with embedded fiber optics and microsensors that acts as a nervous system, creating a perfect digital twin from day one? Is it possible for us to do it? And if your answer is yes, we want your company to give us time frame where we can achieve it in Nigeria so that we can celebrate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and good morning again. It's possible, right? And it's not what has not started. This is what we call born digital. Born digital means, okay, in engineering design, to also do your construction, safety at the backbone or ground. So pretty much these days, pipelines have been, and the new front lines is taking us to those days. First and foremost, we were using pipeline bundles. So you may have the parent pipeline or the primary pipeline. That's it's a 12-inch pipeline. That is the primary one carrying the service. And then you have other pipelines and umbilicals wrapped around it. Layers is what we'll see, but there are some embedded inside. And we have the polymer layer, we have the carbon steel layer, we have other layer. So now, technology is making us to now use the polymer that is embedded there to infuse or to program a lot of things that you want to see, so that you can now have what we call distributed temperature sensing, distributed acoustic sensing, distributed pressure sensing, or whatever you want to sense across the length of your pipeline. And that helps you to do what we call data fusion. So you don't want to only be collecting data in isolation. You want to collect your data at once, cutting across everything. Your chemical composition, your temperature, your pressure, your wall thickness. Everything comes to you at once, and then you now have a system at the back end where you can now disseminate them or distribute all those data to where you need them so that you can make decisions. Yes, it's possible, and that is where the future pipeline is as we speak.
When are we going to have it in Nigeria?
Well, we are ready to make that big investment. It comes with expense. So one of those reasons why we also have that bondage to pipeline is the materials that are used for the pipeline that will make corrosion not to be possible in the nearest time.
So, engineer, our pipeline, anti-everything. It's a question. I'm not saying you should give me answer today because the way Dr. Jela is talking fantastic, and I'm excited. Can we say that when you touch the pipe, we start shouting, "Please don't touch me! Don't touch me!" Bravo, bravo. Can we do that, please?
Yes, we've actually done it in Omogeni. 2024, 2014, 2014-15, we laid the pipeline and we have the fiber optic cable beside the pipeline at 5 o'clock, which tells us, gives us the visual sensing, what is said, acoustics, and then we have two control centers. One, to put it to him, that you need to be specific. If not, you're going to have spurious alerts. You want to send when you have an alert generated by we call it, our system is intelligent pipelines surveillance system. That's the word we use for intelligent pipeline surveillance system. And it's still something we are still looking at. We will appreciate if these acoustics, this information, these alerts that we get, you have a picture, it can go with a camera or something like that, to see, to be sure what it was. What you're generating from the pipeline. And that should be a question for the future. That yes, you're getting alerts on your system at the control room, but you're not sure. It just tells you digging, mechanical impacts.
If you permit me from an academic point of view,
Yeah.
I think we can actually try to look at decibel produced when a cattle is moving, when human is moving, when truck is moving, when digging is going on. We can actually rank it based on the decibel, and then the signal can actually trigger and tell you the level. We are talking theory now. Sorry, I'm the theoretical person. You are the practical person. Yes. So, but at the same time, we need to meet somewhere. Yeah. And I believe that if you can calibrate the system, that okay, for horse to be passing, for cow to be passing, this is decibel they will bring. Give me this alert. So you teach him, oh, cow moving. Except we have smart human beings that will move like cow when they are digging. Except that. So let me move to somebody else so that it will not be partial towards you, if you don't mind. Okay, all right.
Now, your pipeline traverses so many roads, and because as you're moving along each of those road crossings, it comes up with various, and that area needs to be marked out. And that's what we discovered during the time we were using it. At the point where we have a road crossing, vandals attacked the line because they were able to guess by one way or the other that that particular road crossing was marked out. So those are challenges that I want to put up on the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Peter, I know you are excited about what you are hearing, and you have been doing a lot in this area too. I am the one that is more excited because I only teach in class. Unfortunately, some of us have not actually seen majority of what is going on in the industry, if not because of the opportunity we have to be in this kind of association. You become professor, you don't even know what the pipes look like, either inside or outside. And then you can teach people material science, material engineering, and so on and so forth. And you are fantastic. I used to have a professor, a friend from OAU. He had 35 papers on SRD, on SEM, semi-DS, and BET. So he went for America for a conference, and he met the professor there. So the guy took him there, and he was looking at all the equipment. They're looking nice. So he never knew that he was actually seeing SRD, SEM, all the equipment that was written fantastic papers on. And he's a professor. So, Chita, I know you're excited and you have done a lot of work on vendor landscaping. Is it better to build a bespoke digital integrity platform in-house, or we partner with multiple best-in-class technology provider? If we partner with best international provider, at what point do we want to look at Nigerianization and be called Nigerian?
Okay, I think we share the same thing. Me and my co-Nigerians.
Fantastic.
The point is that unless you're not serious, if you're serious about transiting from the manual to the digital, you must involve a third-party SME. always better to start with a foreign, or rather, not necessarily foreign, but it must be a third party,
more experience.
Yeah, more experience. Who is, I mean, you build pipelines, but this person, all he does is digital transformation. So there must be a difference. So that it's something you also do wisely, especially if you share our sentiments on being core Nigerians. Okay, so you must be able to embed it in the key contract with the third party. There must be something